Welcome students. Hope you're all doing good. So before we move on to today's class, let us just recall what we learned in the previous class. So we looked into the unit 1, that is measurements. So in measurements, we first saw the definition of measurements, the length, the SI units, and the submultiples, multiples of SI units, and we saw few problems related to multiples and submultiples of SI units. Then we moved to the mass and weight. We even saw beam balance, electronic balance, time, and the various pictures of balances, that is beam balance, electronic balance, time, and we saw few fast facts regarding measurements. So in today's class, we'll be moving to the next unit, that is forces and motion. Consider there is a book on your table right in the middle. Will the book be moving? You will say it is not moving, it is at rest. So, if you push the book to one side of the table for keeping your another notebook, then you will say the book is moving. So, when the book was at the same place with respect to the table, you say the book was at rest. But when it was pushed from one place on the table to another place, you say it was moving. Now we'll be learning what is motion and rest. So an object is said to be in motion if the position changes with respect to its surrounding and time. And rest, an object is said to be in rest if it does not change its position with respect to its surroundings with time. So in the previous scenario, you saw that the book was in the table at rest position. It wasn't moving, right? Until and unless you move the book to keep your another notebook on the table. So then you would say that the book is moving. So what is rest? An object is said to be in rest if it does not change its position. And what is motion? An object is said to be in motion if its position changes. Okay? Next, move on to how things move. Generally, things won't move unless and until we exert some pressure. Okay? So, how do things move? When we kick a ball, it moves. Unless and until you kick a ball, it doesn't move, right? When we push the book on the table, it moves. When a bullock pulls, the cart moves. So, what is motion? An object is said to be in motion when its position changes. So, generally, motion occurs when the object is pulled or pushed by an agency. Okay? Consider in our daily life, we pull out water from the well with a bucket, or the animal pulls a bullock cart. So in the first two pictures, a boy is pulling the water from the well with a bucket, okay? And in the third and the fourth picture, you can see that the animal pulls a bullock cart. So from this, what do you observe? It is a person or an animal that is an animate agency that does the pushing or pulling. So what is an animate agency? An animate agency is the representation of a character. Okay, it is generally a living character. Okay, so it is a person or an animal that is an animate agency that does the pushing or pulling. Okay, and next, sometimes we see a tall grass in the meadow dancing in the wind, and a piece of wood is moving down a stream. So what pushes or pulls them? We know that the blowing wind and flowing water is the cause. Okay, sometimes the push or pull can also be due to an inanimate agency. So what is an inanimate agency? An inanimate agency is something which lacks the quality or ability of motion. Okay, it is generally a non-living thing, whereas animate agency is a living thing and inanimate agency is a non-living thing. So could you see from the first picture, the wind is blowing grass to move. Okay, and in the last picture, you can see that the stones are all moving down a stream. So sometimes push or pull can also be due to inanimate agency. So from this, what do we observe? A force is a push or a pull by an animate or inanimate agency. So you could see that in the picture, the first man is trying to push the table, okay, whereas in the second case, the man is trying to pull the table towards him. So a force is a push or a pull caused by an animate or inanimate agency. Animate is a living agency, whereas an inanimate agency is a non-living, okay. It lacks the ability to move. So next we look in depth about what is force. So a force is generally a push or a pull upon an object resulting from the object's interaction with another object. So a force exists when there is a interaction between one object and another, okay. So whenever there is an interaction between two objects, there is a force upon each of the objects. So whenever there is an interaction between two objects, there exists a force. So when an interaction ceases, so what is ceases? It is nothing but you're going to end the interaction, okay. You're going to bring the interaction to an end. So when you bring the interaction to an end, the two objects no longer experience the force. When there is an interaction between two objects, there exists a force, and when you bring the interaction to an end, the two objects no longer experiences the force. So force only exists as a result of interaction. Students, can you understand that? So when there is an interaction between two objects, force exists, okay. So when you bring the interaction to an end, you no longer experience the force. So force exists only as a result of interaction. So we'll see few examples. A book will not flip its pages unless you flip it yourself, correct? A book will not turn its pages unless and until you turn the page. Similarly, a football will not fly into the goal unless you kick it. Unless you kick the ball will not fly. Okay. See the third picture, a boy is trying to push the box in favor to the other boy, and that boy is trying to pull the box towards him. So a force is a push or a pull upon an object when there is an interaction of the objects. So a force is a push or a pull upon an object resulting from object's interactions with another object. So a force exists only when there is an interaction between one object and the other object. Okay. So now can you identify whether it is push or pull that results in motion in the following cases? Could you observe the 5 pictures over here? Now you are going to tell me which is push and which is pull. So first picture here, the girl is taking water from the well. Okay, so she's pulling the water from the well. So it is a pull. And in the second image, can you see the man is trying to push the vehicle. So it is a push. And in the third picture, can you see the man is pulling the bull towards him. So it is a pull. And the fourth picture, the boy is pushing the wheel. So it is a push. And the fifth picture, can you see? The boy is pushing the swing to and fro. So it is a push. Students, can you just get it? What is the difference between the push and the pull? Next, we'll move on to the types of forces. So forces can be classified into 2 groups. One is the contact force and the second one is the non-contact force. So what is a contact force? A contact force is executed by touching the body. Okay. These forces are involved when 2 objects physically interact or touch with each other. So a contact force is executed when 2 bodies touch each other or when they physically interact each other. Okay, the various types of contact forces are frictional force, tension force, normal force, applied force, air resistant force, and spring force. What is a frictional force? Frictional force is the force caused by the motion of 2 surfaces that come in contact with each other. Okay, so frictional force is caused when there is the motion of two surfaces when come in contact with each other. Next one is the tension force. So what is a tension force? It is the force that is transmitted through a string, rope, or a cable or wire when it is pulled tightly by forces acting from opposite ends. Okay, so tension force is a force that is transmitted through a string, rope, cable, or wire when it is pulled tightly by forces acting upon opposite ends. And the next one is the normal force. So the normal force is the force exerted upon an object that is in contact with another stable object. Okay, for example, if a book is resting upon a surface, then the surface is exerting an upward force upon the book in order to support the weight of the book. Okay, so in that case we say it as a normal force. Okay, so normal force is a force exerted upon an object that is in contact with another stable object. So the next one is the applied force. So what is an applied force? It is a force that is applied to an object by a person or an another object. Okay, if a person is pushing a desk, then there is an applied force acting upon the object. Okay, so what is an applied force? It is a force that is applied to an object by a person or an another object. For instance, you can say that when you push a desk, you exert some pressure, you apply some pressure. In that case, you say it as applied force. So the next one is the air resistant force. So what is an air resistant force? It is a force that is caused by air. Okay, the force acts in an opposite direction to an object moving through an air. So air resistant force is a force that is caused by air. And the last one is the spring force. So what is a spring force? The spring force is the force created by a compressed or a stretched spring. Depending on how the spring is attached, it can pull or push in order to create a force. Okay, so what is a spring force? It is a force created by a compressed or stretched spring. So these are the types of the contact forces. So what are the types of contact forces? Frictional force, tension force, normal force, applied force, air resistant force, and the spring force. Now we'll look into few examples of contact forces. So the first one is pulling out water from the well. You could see that women is pulling out water from the well. So this is the first example of contact forces. And the second one is the animal pulling the bullock cart. And the third one is wind making a flag flutter. So in all these examples, you could see that there is some physical interaction between each other. Okay, from the first image, you could see that interaction between the women and the pot. Okay, the second one is the interaction between the animal and the bullock cart, whereas third one is the wind and the flag. So what is a contact force? A contact force is executed by touching the body. It is involved when two objects physically interact or when they touch each other. Understood, students? So the next one is the non-contact forces. So what are non-contact forces? The non-contact force is applied without touching the object. Okay, these are forces that act between two bodies that does not require physical contact between the bodies. So what are non-contact forces? It is executed when there is no physical touch or physical interaction between two bodies or two objects. Okay, so what are the types of non-contact forces? It is the gravitational force, electric force. We call electric force as also electrostatic force, and the third one is the magnetic force. So what is gravitational force? The force exerted by the earth on a body is called as gravitational force. Okay, and what is the electrostatic or electrical force? It is the force exerted by a charged bodies. Okay, for example, like charges repel each other while unlike charges attract each other. Okay, and the next one is the magnetic force. So what is a magnetic force? The force exerted by a magnet is called a magnetic force. Okay, now we'll see few examples on non-contact forces. The first one is bringing a magnet near the small iron nail. Okay, so have you noticed when you bring a magnet near the small iron nail, suddenly all the nails jumps into the air and sticks with the magnet. Okay, did you observe that the magnet and the nails does not touch each other? Okay, so there was a pulling force that made the nail to jump towards the magnet. And the second one is fruits falling onto the ground. Okay, so consider when a ripened coconut or any kind of fruit falls to the ground, what pulls it to the ground? We would have heard of the force of gravity of earth. So gravity pulls the ripened coconut or any fruit from the tree to the ground. Okay, so in these two examples, the force is applied without touching the object. So such type of forces are called as non-contact forces. Students, can you get it? So what contact force is executed when two objects physically interact or touch each other. And what are non-contact forces? The force applied without touching the objects, okay, without touching the body of the objects is known as non-contact forces. So these are the types of forces. Force is classified on basis of two things. The one is the agencies and the second one is the basis of contact. So based on agencies, it is classified into animate factors or inanimate factors, and on basis of contact, it is classified into contact forces and non-contact forces. We have already learned what are animate factors. So what are animate factors? Animate factors are the representation of a character, whereas inanimate factors are something that lacks the quality or the ability of motion. That is, it is referred to something that is not alive. Okay, and on basis of contact, force is classified into contact force and non-contact force. Just now we saw what are the contact and non-contact forces, right? So what is a contact force? When two objects physically interact or touch each other, a force is being created. So such type of force is called as contact force. And the second one is the non-contact force. Non-contact force are executed without touching the object. Okay, students? Okay, next we'll move on to what happens when we apply force on an object. For example, when you push a book on the table, the book moves. So the application of force in an object results in motion from a state of rest. Unless you move the book doesn't move, right? It remains in the state of rest. Similarly, what happens when a batsman hit a ball? The ball is already in motion, but the speed of the ball increases. Moreover, the direction of the ball also changes. So, the first one is the application of force on object results in change in its speed and change in its direction. So, we'll move to the second one. Now, crush a ball or apply a force on a roti, okay, or pull a rubber band. In all these cases, the shape of the object change on the application of force. Okay, in the first image, can you see that a man is trying to crush a balloon, and the second image you can see that a man or a woman is pulling a rubber band. Okay, so application of force in objects results in expansion or contraction. So this is the second one. Now the third one is, look at this picture. The person is applying force to stop the cart from moving. So when the force is applied against the direction of the motion, the speed can be reduced or even the motion stopped completely. So what do you observe from this? When the force is applied against the direction of the motion, either the speed can be reduced or the motion gets stopped completely. Okay, so these are the three points of forces. So the first one is when we apply force on an object, it results change in its speed and change in its direction. The second one is when we apply force on an object, it results either in expansion or contraction. The third one, when we apply the force against the direction of the motion, the speed can be reduced or even the motion gets stopped completely. So these are the 3 points. Forces can change the states of body from rest to motion or from motion to rest. It can either change the speed or direction or both of the body, and it changes the shape of the body too. Okay, so what are the 3 points? Force can change the state of a body from either rest to motion or from motion to rest. It can either change the speed or direction or both of the body, and it changes the shape of the body too. Okay, so next we'll move on to the types of motion. So what is motion? An object is said to be in motion if the position changes with respect to its surroundings and time. So the types of motion are rotational motion, circular, straight line or linear motion, oscillatory motion, curvilinear motion, and the zigzag motion. I repeat, rotational motion, circular motion, linear motion, oscillatory motion, curvilinear motion, and the zigzag motion. Now, consider 4 cases, okay? Shanti took a pencil and sharpened it with a sharpener. This is the first case. And the second case is, then she drew a circle using the pencil and a compass. The third case is, later she took a ruler or a scale and drew a straight line in another paper. And the fourth case is, then she kept the pencil between a finger and moved it back and forth. So now look at the motion of the pencil in all these 4 cases. How was it? So in the first case, the pencil rotated its axis. We call it as rotational motion. And in the second case, it went in a circle. It is a circular motion. And in the third case, the pencil traveled in a straight line. We call it as linear motion. And in the fourth case, the pencil tip moved back and forth. That is, it oscillated like a swing. So we call it as oscillatory motion. Okay, I repeat, in the first case, the pencil rotated in its axis. We call it as rotational motion. And the second is, it went in a circle. We call it as circular motion. In the third case, the pencil traveled in a straight line. We call it as a linear motion. And in the fourth case, the pencil tip moved back and forth. That is, it oscillated like a swing. We call it as oscillatory. Next one is, consider throw paper aeroplane or paper dart. Watch its flight path. When you throw it at an angle, the path curves. That is, the paper flight is moving ahead, but direction is changing while moving such paths. So such paths are called as curvilinear motion. And the next one is a fly. Okay, a fly buzzing around the room is a combination of all these motions, combination of rotational, circular, linear, oscillatory, curvilinear. So a fly buzzing around the room is a combination of all these motions, and flight path is zigzag. Okay, so what is rotational motion? The movement of a body about its own axis, like a rotation top. We call it as rotational motion. And the second one is the circular motion, that is in a circle. Okay, for example, we can also say swirling stone tied to the rope. We tie the rope in a circular motion, right? And the third one is the linear motion. So what is a linear motion? Moving in a straight line, like a person walking on a straight path, free fall. We say this as linear motion. And the fourth one is the oscillatory motion. What is an oscillatory motion? Coming back to the same position after a fixed time interval, like a pendulum. Okay, so what is oscillatory motion? Coming back to the same position after a fixed time interval, like a pendulum. And the fourth one, we looked into the curvilinear motion. So what is a curvilinear motion? Moving ahead but changing direction. Okay, for example, like a throw ball. And the last one, we saw the zigzag or the irregular motion. That is like the motion of a bee or people walking in a crowded street. So that's it for today's class, students. So let us just do a small recap of what we learned today. First, we looked into what is motion and rest. So what is motion? An object is said to be in motion if its position changes with respect to surrounding and time. And what is an rest? An object is said to be at rest if its position does not changes with respect to surroundings and times. And next we saw how things move. So motion generally occurs when an object is pushed or pulled by an agency. Next we looked into few examples, and then we saw that a force is a push or a pull that is caused by an animate or inanimate agency. So what is an animate agency? An animate agency is the representation of a living character, whereas an inanimate agency is a something that is not alive. Okay, and next we moved in detail about what is force. So what is a force? It is a push or a pull upon an object resulting from object's interaction with another object. Okay, so when there is an interaction between two objects, there exists a force. When the interaction is put to an end, the two objects no longer experience the force. So force generally exists as a result of interaction. And then we saw the two examples. So next we moved on to the types of forces. So what are the types of forces? Contact force and non-contact force. So what are contact forces? Contact force are executed by touching the body. That is, these forces were involved when two objects physically interact or touch each other. We saw the types of contact forces: the frictional force, tension force, normal force, applied force, air resistant force, and the spring force. We even saw the definitions of each forces. Next, we moved on to the examples of contact forces. After that, we saw what are non-contact forces. So what are non-contact forces? Contact forces are applied without touching the object. That is, these are forces that act between two objects that does not require physical contact between the bodies. And next we moved on to the types of non-contact forces, that are the gravitational force, electrostatic or the electrical force, and the magnetic force. And we even saw the definition of each forces. Next we saw the few examples of non-contact forces, and next we saw the classification of force. So classified into animate factors and inanimate factors, and on basis of contact, force is classified into contact force and non-contact forces. And next we saw what happens when we apply force on an object. So when a force is applied on an object, it results in change in its speed and change in its direction. The second one is when a force is applied on an object, it results either in expansion or contraction. And the third one is applied against the direction of the motion. The speed can be reduced or even the motion stops completely. Okay, so these were the 3 points. And next we saw the types of motion. So what are the types of motion? Rotational motion, circular, linear, oscillatory, curvilinear, and zigzag. And we even saw examples of each types of motions. So that's it, students. I have attached the assignments for you, so write it in your notebook. Thank you, students.